Hi, everyone. Thanks for jumping on Wednesday. I've been up since like 3 this morning. These storms definitely had me a little unnerved. I was laying in bed and I was just kept imagining this big old oak tree that we've trimmed and it's on our neighbor's property and all that kind of stuff. And yet there's still these big old branches. It's a beautiful oak tree. But last night there was this feeling of like, oh my gosh, am I going to hear it like snap before it hits the roof of the house, all that kind of stuff. So been up for a while and yeah, feeling the call to flexing or just activating the our resilience muscles. And many of you have experienced this particular form of practicing resilience with me many times. I think there's basically three elements to the practice of resilience. And first and foremost, just defining resilience as this ability to be able to recover when things happen that are uncomfortable or distressing. So when we feel threats, does it shake us for hours or days on end, or are we able to bounce back relatively quickly? And so that's the first concept is bounce. So imagining the difference between a bowling ball and a basketball, you throw them both out the first story window. One of them just like smashes into the concrete and just shatters. The other one just bounces right back up. So in an ideal world, I think we want to have more bounce, right? This ability to say, oh, that was different than I thought it was going to be. No problem. I'm bouncing right back up to baseline. I'm good. Like I don't need to turn this thing into a big issue. The other one is grit. And so I always think of like masons or fishermen's hands. Like they don't get paper cuts. They don't get ruffled by stuff that feels rough because they have grit. They have this ability to just literally handle, like um, pun intended, using their hands to grasp onto stuff that feels rough or gritty, or and it's not a big deal. They can do it. So we can kind of go through situations with a degree of grit because it's not going to upset us that much. And then the last one is this idea of the reframe. So you bump into something, it's different than you thought it was going to be. And can you reframe it? Can you look at it and say, oh, okay, that was different. Um, Gosh, what's the opportunity in this situation? Oh, this person stood me up for, our coffee date. Okay, no problem. Awesome. I actually get all of this unanticipated time to myself to be able to do other things that I have been on my mind rather than fixating on how dare they and I can't believe they stood me up and they always do this and I'm never, the most important person for them. It's more like, cool, let me reframe this and just see the positive in it. Right. So those three things like bounce, grit, and the reframe um, are these key elements to cultivating resilience. So let's go check those out. Spend some time there. So close your eyes. Just arriving in this moment. Busyness of the morning is done. Busyness of the afternoon has yet to happen. And so here we are, just right here, right now. Just feeling into stillness and equanimity. The body's breathing, the body's sitting. The mind is thinking and anticipating. It's all good. It's exactly what all these different parts should be doing. And then bring to mind something in your life where you feel like you wish you were more resilient. You had more capacity It's a deal. And it might be your neighbor, it might be your spouse, it might be your work or people at work. And it doesn't really matter. Just see if you can drop into an aspect of your life where you're telling yourself, it'd be great if I could just be a little more resilient. And so once you've connected with that, now ask yourself the question, what would it take for me to have a little more bounce in that situation? By bounce, I mean you bump into this age old issue with this person or this life situation, and it triggers you, it activates you. But now, what if you had a little more bounce? So, this ability to just say, oh, here it is. It's different than I thought it was going to be. No problem. We just bounce right back up to where I was before, where I was doing fine. I wasn't upset. I wasn't disturbed. That's all it is. It's just a little bit different than I thought it was going to be. You just bounce right back up to baseline. And then in that same situation or that same person, imagine yourself having a little more grit. Your, your skin's just a little thicker. Those words or that look, that attitude, whatever they did, it just doesn't penetrate as deeply. It doesn't ruffle your feathers. You just have a thicker skin and you can just sit there and say, like, yeah, whatever. They're entitled to their opinion, their ideas. I'm okay. There's a matter of factness to grit that I think is worth connecting with. So right now, just noticing bounce. Something happened that was different than we hoped for. That's okay. I can bounce right back. And then grit. It's just like, yeah, I'm I have more protection than I thought I had. I'm okay. Things can be different than I thought they were going to be, and I'm okay. And then this third part is the reframe, where we use our prefrontal cortex and we look at the same situation. We just say, I know my knee jerk reaction was to make all of this bad, negative, problematic. But there's a different way of looking at this. So just reframing and saying, great, this is an opportunity for me to be more connected with my values, or this is an opportunity for me to draw some boundaries, or now that this person stood me up for my coffee date, I have all this extra time on my hands. I get to go for a walk. I get to read my book. I get to do something different. So just reframing that situation and noticing the positive opportunities that are present. And in my experience, if we can do any one of these three sort of resilience moves well, has a huge impact on our experience. In an ideal world, we can do all three of them at the same time, and that really makes us kind of bulletproof. So again, it's just the ability to bounce back. Oh, this is different than I thought. Okay, no problem. I can adapt. I can bounce right back. And grittiness. I don't need to let this affect me as deeply as it usually does. I'm okay. I got this. And the reframe is just viewing it through a different lens, and what at first seems like a big problem actually turns into an amazing opportunity. And that's resilience. So, what situations, what people in your life do you flex a little more resilience, and just see what happens if you try these three things out. And take a deep breath in through the nose. Long, slow exhale through the mouth. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In through the nose, to the mouth. Relax your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your hands, belly. Let it all out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do one more. In through the nose. And really just let it go. Your chest, your shoulders, your throat, your jaw. Just let it relax. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. Going back to the session, and yeah, may you find your resilient mojo throughout the rest of your day. Hope that was a good reminder. Take care, everyone. See you tomorrow.